So this was, I call him the most improbable 74-year-old man. I remember him vividly. This was quite some time ago. This was one of those gentlemen who was not just thin, he was rail thin. I mean, he was a heavy smoker, mechanic, rail thin guy. He was so thin, you put your hand on his back, you'd feel his spine, his scapula, you feel every rib. I mean, he's that kind of thin guy. He had been working as, he's a retired guy. He lives, outside of the city. He works on cars in his garage. He's not married. He's got no kids. He's got no one in his life that, he's tied to. He's kind of a loner. And he goes under those cars and he smokes cigarettes and he works on the cars. And now before some listeners are going to say that's the fire hazard or something.
Well, he smokes a lot of cigarettes. You should say how many.
He smokes 4 packs a day. He smoked 4 packs a day since he was a teenager. He's 74. His pack year history is in the hundreds and hundreds of pack years. This is an extraordinary smoking history. When you talk to him about smoking, his view on smoking is, I'm sure it's not good for me, but at this point, I'm not going to stop. I mean, I've enjoyed it my whole life. I'm going to keep enjoying it. And he also has a different view on life than I think a lot of people, where he's not in the life maximization business. He tells me many times, I just want to work on my car and I want to have the pleasure of having some cigarettes. That's it. I don't have a grand ambition here. I'm 74. I live by myself. As long as I'm capable, I want to work on my car. The story gets a little bit complicated because we start to debut, by we, I mean the hospital, a lung cancer screening program. And this guy comes into a doctor's appointment and they say, oh, you're old enough for your colonoscopy and your CT scan for your lungs to look for lung cancer. He learns what a colonoscopy is and he tells him to go to hell. He's not going to do that. No way you're putting a camera there, and there's no way I'm drinking that. He says a CT scan, that's non-invasive. I guess I'll do that. He gets the CT scan. And lo and behold, they find tons of spots in the lungs. I mean, I think what the listeners may not know is sometimes you take somebody who's a heavy smoker, you do a CT scan in the lungs, you find many, many things you're worried about. But then you're in a dilemma, Russ, which is that you can't do a biopsy of every single one. There's just so many things to go after. So what we do is we have these interdisciplinary meetings. We look at the scan. We follow them over time. We pick the ones that are growing the fastest or look the most concerning. We biopsy those. We do it sort of step by step. And lo and behold, I'll simplify the story. Listeners can read it. He has 1 lung cancer. We cut it out. He gets radiation. He gets chemotherapy. They follow him a few more years. He has another lung cancer. They give him some radiation. They follow him out a few years. And I think, he gets to like a 3rd lung cancer and they're talking about giving him chemo again. And I start to think, what the hell are we doing to this guy? He's getting surgery, radiation, chemotherapy. By the way, there's not so much data to give chemotherapy twice. I mean, I think the fact that lung cancer is growing despite prior chemotherapy should give you some pause. And then the question is, the patient says to me, quote, I was fine before that scan. I never felt bad a day in my life except for what the doctors did to me. And he said this, what do I know about lung cancer screening? They just told me where to show up for this scan. I assumed they knew what they were doing. I never felt bad until they started on me. And he says, I don't care how long I live. I just want to spend time doing what I want to do.